Fox Sports.
We are Fox Sports. We are Ohio.
It is gone to Summer City, and the Indians win it. He's out of room. We're out of here. Stubbs on his way to the plate with the go-ahead run. He is set. Ryan Rayburn off the bench delivers in the clutch. Fastball drill, deep right field. Back is Rios. He's out of room. It's out of here. And the Indians' magical ride continues. From Progressive Field in downtown Cleveland, Ohio, where the Indians stay red hot. They've won a season-best 10 straight at home, and on this homestand alone, they've won 3 in game-winning home run walk-off fashion. Hi again, everyone. Matt Underwood alongside Rick Manning. Today, the Tribe has a chance to sweep the White Sox in a 4-game series for the second time this year. And they've got Justin Masterson on the hill against the big left-hander Chris Sale of Chicago.
Well, it'll be another matchup of all-star pitchers, and Justin Masterson has had his way this year with the White Sox. He has been dynamite. A couple of complete game shutouts. He just continues to go out there, pound that slider, work that sinker inside to the hitters, and has had a lot of success. He's going to be matched up, though, against another all-star, but the Indians have had his number. Chris Sale, a long, tall, skinny left-hander with all arms and legs. He's got a very good fastball. His slider can be tough to pick up, but the Indians, for whatever reason, have had success. They had scored big off him here in this ballpark, and they beat him the last time they faced him in Chicago, although Sale pitched a good ball game. And the Indians have beaten the White Sox 7 consecutive games. We'll see if they can do it, for the second time this year. Sweep 2 4-game series, awfully hard to do.
They've never done it before in franchise history, but a chance to make a little history here this afternoon. Come on back for all the play-by-play action as the Indians look to stay red hot and keep pace with the first-place Detroit Tigers, but the Indians now a half game up for one of those wild card spots in the American League. The play-by-play is straight ahead. driving the White Sox here today at Progressive Field. As we get ready for the ball game, Justin Masterson on the hill. And Alejandro De Aza will lead it off for Chicago. De Aza 2 for 14 in the series. Justin's first pitch of the game, down and in for ball one. 73 degrees, a light breeze blowing out toward right field. 1-0 pitch. Inside corner, a strike to even the count. Indians have won a season best 7 in a row. 10 in a row right here at home. White Sox have dropped 6 straight.
Well, this has been a terrific homestand for him to this point. Exciting, a lot of fun, late inning heroics.
3 walk-off home runs in this 6-game win streak on the homestand. Slowly chopped towards second base. Mike Aviles throws him out, 1 away. After De Aza, Alexei Ramirez in the 2-hole, followed by Adam Dunn. Diane Vicieda will bat cleanup today. Connor Gillespie 5th, Jeff Keppinger 6th. Jordan Danks getting the start in right field. He'll bat 7th. Then Gordon Beckham and Tyler Flowers.
Justin Masterson 12-7 on the year, 3.42 ERA. He's been outstanding against the White Sox.
Popped in the air. Right center field, Ryan Rayburn will make the catch, 2 down.
Check out the Kia Indians defense this afternoon behind Justin Masterson. It's Brantley in left, Stubbs in center, Rayburn in right. Reynolds at third, Cabrera at short, Aviles at second, Swisher at first with Gomes behind the plate.
John Hirschbeck, the crew chief, behind the plate calling the balls and strikes. Then it's James Hoy at first, Bob Davidson at second, DJ Rayburn at third. Adam Dunn taking a first pitch strike. Masterson a tough right-hander, so Robin Ventura giving Paul Konerko and Alex Rios the day off, just as Terry Francona with a tough left-hander on the hill has given Michael Bourne and Jason Kipnis the day off. The 1-1 pitch. Just missing, 2 balls and a strike. 2-1 pitch. Fouled off the foot of Adam Dunn, and the count evens at 2-2. Masterson coming off a terrific start his last time out. 7 2/3, 5-hit shutout baseball against Texas.
Yeah, that was when he was matched up against another All-Star, Yu Darvish.
The 2-2. Dunn hits it high in the air, deep center field. Back is Stubbs. He's got room and makes the catch. The White Sox go 1-2-3, and the Indians are coming to bat. Bottom of the first, and let's take a look at Terry Francona's starting nine, courtesy of Progressive, making it easy to bundle your home and car insurance. Heavy right-handed bats today. Drew Stubbs leading it off, followed by Nick Swisher, and then Ryan Rayburn batting third. Asdrubal Cabrera, Carlos Santana, and Jan Gomes in the middle. Michael Brantley, the lone left-handed bat in the lineup, batting seventh, followed by Mark Reynolds and Mike Aviles.
Chris Sale, the starting pitcher, 20th start. A 6-10 record with a 2.69 ERA. Gets the worst run support of any pitcher in baseball. 2.5 runs a ball game. Opponent's hitting just 214, so he's been a tough luck pitcher. Good stuff. The Indians have beaten him twice this year, but I don't blame him. Put the right-handed bats in there. Right-handers hitting 231 off him this year. Lefty just 138. Michael Brantley, the lone left-hander, but he had a hit or so off him in Chicago.
Swung on and missed. And the count 0-2. Stubbs 1 for 6 in the series. Boy, he took something off and struck him out 1 away.
Let's look at that White Sox defense. Rated 14th in the league. Viciedo in left, Diasa in center, Danks in right. Gillespie at third, Ramirez at short, Beckham is at second, Keppinger at first with Flowers behind the plate. You can see 75 errors this year, and they made one last night. They had 70 all of last season.
Nick Swisher 3 for 10 in the series. He's also drawn 3 walks. Up and away, ball 1. On receiving just 2.35 runs per game, Chris Sale says, you just got to stay positive. Can't get down on yourself or anyone else. Just keep grinding it out and things will turn around.
It is a grind, too, because it has to be a little frustrating after a while. But this guy, what makes him so tough, he's got a good fastball. He's an awkward delivery. Arms and legs, a different arm angle. And he's got great off-speed stuff. The changeup, as we saw to Stubbs, that slider right there to Swisher to go with a 92 to 94 mile an hour fastball.
1-2 pitch. Weak tapper back to the mound. 2 away. The Firestone Complete Auto Care Extra Mile Index. There's a look at the lowest run support.
Not even close.
Ryan Rayburn 2 for 5 in the series. Two quick strikes.
And he's coming out and he's got command of everything on the mound and he's working quickly.
And the 0-2 back out of play. The 2-strike pitch struck him out. Chris Sale breezes through the first. No score after 1. Brought to you by McDonald's, now introducing 3 exciting new Quarter Pounders. And by Kia. No score, top of the second inning.
Boy, it turned out to be a beautiful day today. When we left for the ballpark, it was overcast. Looked like it was going to rain. Not a cloud in the sky now. Make it interesting on some fly balls today.
Dayan Viciedo looks at ball 1 inside from Justin Masterson. One on one the count. Viciedo 4 out of 12 in the series. As you see there, he's drawn a hit now in 8 straight. Fooled badly by the off-speed pitch, and it's 1-2. In that first inning, Masterson and Sale combined to throw 21 pitches, and 17 of the 21 were strikes. So at least at the outset, both guys are aggressive and firing on all cylinders. 2-2 the count here for Viciedo, with Connor Gillespie due next. Slowly chopped to short. Cabrera on the move from the cut of the grass. Throws him out. 1 away. There's a look at our keys to the game, courtesy of Akron Children's Hospital. Masterson trying to continue his dominance against Chicago. And you've got to try to cash in on any scoring opportunity you get against Sale.
If you get any, you're right. A couple of all-stars matching up. I mean, just when you look at this game before it even starts, you think, okay, these two guys, if they're on their game, it should be a very low-scoring game, and you're going to have to do all the little things right.
Outside with it, 1-1.
Of course, it doesn't always turn out that way, but if it does, Justin has 2 complete game shutouts against the Sox this year. He has really dominated.
Wow, that was awfully good looking pitch. Didn't get the call. It's 2-1. Take another look here. Might have been just off the plate.
On our Nissan pitch tracker.
Yep. Gomes did a nice job of trying to frame it. That's inside, 3-1. Gillespie 1 for 9 in the series. Full count. Jeff Keppinger is next for the White Sox. Swung out and missed. He struck him out. Masterson gets his first K, 2 down in the second. Well, here's a look at our stat of the game. Brought to you by your Northern Ohio Buick dealers. Last time the Indians swept the same team twice in the series in a 4-game set, 1960 when they did it to the A's, who were then in Kansas City. They've never done it against Chicago.
That goes to show you how difficult it is to do this. I mean, it is very difficult. I don't care how good or how bad you think a team is, but when you're at the big league level, 2 4-game sweeps in a year, very difficult. Nowadays, I'm surprised we play the same team 4 games in a year twice, especially in your own division. I guess that's the way it falls with interleague play this year, with the 2-game series that go on as well.
Yeah, exactly right. You're right. If the 4-game series isn't, for years it wasn't very common.
But you'd have a doubleheader. I mean, so it could turn into a Friday, Saturday doubleheader Sunday. But we upped the games for interleague to 20 because of the 15 teams in each league this year, and that makes for more 2-game series and more 4-game series.
The 1-2 is swung on and missed, and Masterson, with a couple of strikeouts here in the second inning, sets down Chicago 1-2-3. Bottom of the second inning. For the Indians is Drupal Cabrera, Carlos Santana, and Yan Gomes. And Cabrera takes a strike. Out of play.
Boy, Sale's coming right out and just pounding the strike zone. 13 pitches, 12 strikes. You better be ready, boys.
Two-strike pitch. Pounded to short. Alexei Ramirez throws him out, one away. Here's our great clip of the game from last night. Carlos Santana. A game winner. He said when he hit it, he wasn't sure if it was going to get out, so he had his head down running hard. Sandy Alomar, however, on the Indians bench, as soon as the ball left the bat, he turned to Terry Francona and was already giving him a high five, and Francona said, I was already thinking, should we bunt him over? He said, but Sandy knows this ballpark.
Yeah, he's been here and seen enough balls hit to right field that he knows. Sound of the bat.
Well, all of a sudden, this team taking a page from that 95 Indians team that Sandy was a part of. You know, no matter what the deficit, you don't feel like you're out of a game.
5 different guys hitting walk-offs this year in this ballpark. And you're right, that was the calling card in that season, was the walk-off home run.
Yeah. Well, already on this homestand, you've had Rayburn,
3,
Giambi, and Santana, 3 different guys step up in the last at bat.
And then Gomes did it one time earlier in the year. It has been fun to watch. Well, and I'll tell you what, and for the fans,
that's hammered. Center field. That's a solid line drive. First hit of the game. Might have been a breaking ball that hung a little bit, but he just took it right back through the box. And let's go downstairs and check in with Katie Witham.
Well, Matt, I spoke with Jason Giambi in the clubhouse today, and he told me that this team just gets it. They've bought in. They go out there every day, and they're playing for the name on the front of the jersey, not the name on the back of the jersey. They know what's important is winning, not those individual stats. And because of that, you've seen a different guy become the hero every single night. And they, right now in this clubhouse, love coming to the ballpark every single day, Matt.
I mentioned it to you on the post-game show last night on Indians Live. I said, you know, this isn't a team that hasn't, you know, go back in the day. They don't have an Albert Bell in the middle of the lineup or Manny Ramirez. They don't really have a pure number 4 hitter. And it's almost as if that's made everybody in the lineup that much better because they're not relying on any one person. Everybody's got to pull their weight, and they all have.
Well, they know that it does take a total team.
That is a smash to deep left field. It'll get by Viciedo all the way to the warning track. Gomes took a big turn at first. He'll stay with a long one-out single. Santana goes all the way to third. Nice job by Viciedo, who did cut the ball off before it got to the fence. I didn't think he was going to. Had he not, Gomes has an easy double, and maybe Santana scores.
Well, there's a good possibility. I think that ball maybe came a little off the end of the bat because it had top spin to it, and it didn't really get over there. But that's a good job of hustling. And I'll tell you, Gomes was looking for a double, but he did a nice job to keep the double play in order. That's your job as an outfielder with one out. You hustle over there, throw it into second base. You give your pitcher an opportunity to get a double play. But the Indians now have runners at the corners and an opportunity to get on the board, but that's a good defensive play.
Jan is now hitting 5 straight. And now it's up to Michael Brantley, the only left-handed hitter in the lineup today against Sale. And it's ball 1 up high.
Well, for Chris Sale, I did tell you earlier, the left-handers on the year, 138 batting average. 87 at-bats, 12 hits he has given up. And Brantley's a guy that has one of them.
Fastball in there for a strike 2, even the count of 1-1. Well, you've only given up 12. He probably knows all 12 that he's given up.
Yeah. Well, he doesn't see many left-handers. But you're right. I'm sure the memory bank.
Shot for the outside corner. Brantley didn't think so. Hirschbeck says yes, it is. And the count 1-2. No.
Well, if he gets that pitch all day, he's coming across his body. And I'm not saying that was a strike, but as a left-hander, you're not going to hit it.
Flowers went to the slide to stop that one, 2-2. Carlos Santana, the runner at third base, with Yan Gomes at first. 2 on here in the second inning with 1 out. Brantley trying to give the Indians an early lead. 2-2 pitch. He rings him up. John Hirschbeck and Brantley continue to have words. Hirschbeck has the final say in this at bat.
Well, it looked like the same pitch as he called before.
That's not a strike. There's no way. He's sitting off the plate.
Well, he called it the pitch before, and he called it on that one. And Michael's still having his say to let him know that he didn't think it was a strike. And you're programmed as a hitter that's just a pitch that you can't do anything with. If you foul it off, you'll be lucky.
Now Mark Reynolds, 0 for 4 in the series. Up high, ball 1. Two and 0 the count. Off the end of the bat, a base hit into center field. Reynolds drives home the game's first run as Santana scores on the 2-out RBI single. 1-0 Cleveland. It's RBI number 48 for Reynolds.
Now that's picking up your teammate right there. I'll tell you what, Brantley wasn't able to do it, but Reynolds comes in here and picks him up, gets a 2-out base hit. It'll be our McDonald's. I'm loving it. Stay on it. Short stroke. Use the center of the field. The Indians will take a 1-0 lead. Nicely done. Well done. 3 singles in the inning for the Indians. And the calling card appears. The 2-out base hit.
Reynolds picks up his first RBI since July the 2nd. 2 on, 2 out. And Mike Avila's caught in between. Strike 1. The 0-1. Missed outside with it. And a foul in and out of the glove of Tyler Flowers. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Terry Francona talking to Michael Brantley. Now the 1-2. Aviles pops one to left. Viciedo makes the catch to end the inning. The Indians strike first. The 2-out RBI single by Mark Reynolds. 1-0 Cleveland as we go to the 3rd. Bottom third of the Chicago lineup coming here. Jordan Danks, Gordon Beckham, Tyler Flowers. The Indians able to scratch out an early run to grab the lead. That one nailed Hirschbeck. Jan Gomes unable to come up with a pitch that nails the umpire.
Well, it didn't look like he got leather on it. Watch his right leg, shin, ankle, got him.
Well, you saw Gomes was set up away, and that pitch missed all the way back in. Same situation again, 2-0. Not a play. Jordan Danks got the call back from AAA yesterday. It's his third stint with the big league club. Just 2 for his last 21 in the big leagues.
Well, you know you're going to get the assignment today when you're a left-handed hitter facing Masterson as they give Rios the day off. Just like you would give the left-handers a day off against Sale, you're going to give some right-handers a day off against Masterson.
Line to base hit in the right field, and that's the first hit of the game for Chicago. Here's a trivia question today brought to you by AT&T. In 1907, the Indians refused a trade offer of Ty Cobb for which Hall of Fame outfielder? Pitch in there for a strike to Gordon Beckham. Chopped it foul. And the count is 0-2. Way outside. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Jordan Danks, good wheels, has a couple of steals.
Yeah, he can run a little bit.
Strike 3 called. Third strikeout for Masterson.
Well, he goes in now and finds the inside corner and gets the call. He was looking for a ground ball, and Beckham might have been looking for something away, and he sort of locked him up. You can see it's going to be a tough pitch. That ball had some run on it, too.
Tyler Flowers getting his first action in the series. Came on last night as a defensive replacement. But he was the guy they touted to take over for A.J. Pierzynski once Pierzynski left after last season. But you see there on the year, 205 average.
Well, there's some tough shoes to fill. When you come in there, Pierzynski, a guy that played every day and handled the team. And
swung on a miss, throw to second. They got him.
Well, and I'll tell you what, Gomes continues. He's very impressive throwing the baseball. Quick feet. I mean, when you see the footwork of this young man, and then he's right on the money. Rarely is he off target. I mean, that ball going up and in, they swing at it. Flowers, I don't know if it was a hit and run, and they just nailed Danks easily because very accurate. And look at that, 55%. That's the no-run zone, is Jan Gomes. You don't run.
The no-run zone?
Yeah, the no-run zone. If you give him an opportunity, he's got a really good chance of throwing him out.
Close pitch, 2-2 the count. Walk, don't run. 2-2 count. Out of play. Now a full count with 2 down in the third. Right back out of play. Well, the last 20 games, and Masterson's been a big part of this. The Indian starters continue to impress. Teams won 14 of those last 20, and the starters' ERA is 2.26. And what's comforting is that the starters are getting deeper into games on average. 6 innings or more 14 times in those 20 starts.
Yeah, the starters have, I mean, it's been very good to watch. A lot of fun to watch.
Ooh, breaking ball. That almost break over the inside part of the plate, but it's called ball 4. Now a 2-out base runner for Chicago.
Swing for the fences with the new Home Run Derby mobile game from MLB.com. It's available on an iPhone and iPad, and you can download it free today.
Alejandro De Aza grounded to second his first time up. 2 for 15 in the series. Fouled out of play. Masterson's 0-2 pitch. Strike 3 called. Hirschbeck rings up De Aza. 4th strikeout for Masterson. 1-0 Cleveland, middle of the third. A reminder as you enjoy a cold one to stay tuned later in the game for Miller Time, brought to you by Miller Lite. Indians with a 1-0 lead. Bottom of the third, top of the order due up here for the Tribe. Chris Sale into the wide and the pitch. Hammered foul, third base side by Drew Stubbs. Back in Chicago when the Indians faced the White Sox and Sale was on the hill, he retired the first 9 in a row, struck out 5 of those first 9. And then in the 4th inning, in a scoreless game, Drew Stubbs laid down a bunt single.
Yeah.
And everything just sort of changed after that. It's not that they ran him off the field or the roof fell in on them, but they were able to break through and get on the board. They scored a couple of runs, and they made it stand up that day.
It gave them a start. It put them out of the stretch.
Yeah.
For the first time, and they ended up cashing in. And it ended up being a really big deal.
Stubbs bangs this one to third, and it stays fair. Pulled him off the bag. The ball goes into the crowd, and Stubbs will go to second. Well, it wasn't a bunt this time around. But it is the speed of Drew Stubbs that perhaps forced the errant throw by Connor Gillespie.
Gillespie has had a bad series at third base here. But I'll tell you what, it is the speed of Stubbs. Because you've got to do everything correctly and properly to get him out. But the throw is just wide. It pulls Keppinger off the base. So it'll be a hit and an error. The 76th error for the White Sox. So now you get that leadoff man to second base with the error. They have had just a tough year defensively.
Breaking ball call to strike to Nick Swisher. Slow chopper hit to third again. Gillespie barehand grab and throw. This one's on the money. 1 away. Well, this is what we were talking about back in Chicago. Drew Stubbs laid down a perfect bunt. And then Ryan Rayburn delivered with a big knock to drive home a run. Carlos Santana followed suit.
That was the 2-run inning they had. That's to set it up, that bunt. Yeah, that was well done. Anytime you can get a lead off a pitcher like Chris Sale, it's awfully nice. And they were able to do it with 3 hits in the second inning. But there's a play right there. When you get the leadoff man to second, you want to move him over if you can.
Yeah.
Because, every run against a guy like this is huge, especially when you have Masterson on the mound for you.
Ryan Rayburn struck out his first time up. Popped up foul, back out of play. In the air, right field, long run for Danks, still going into the corner. It's gone! Ryan Rayburn, opposite field, 2-run homer, 3-0 Cleveland. And all of the White Sox players are standing around with their hands on their hips, a stunned look. But you've got that wind that's kind of coming in from the left field corner, and it might have helped it, might have pushed it, and got it out of here.
Well, I'm going to tell you, he sliced that ball and got underneath it. And if you look at the flag, and it was high, that ball had the top spin where it carried, and I can't believe it got out down the line. Look at Sale. No big deal. Popped up. But watch. Here comes Danks over, and it is out of here. That ball really carried. That's a 2-run shot. That's a 3-0 ball game. And how about Ryan Rayburn, his 12th home run? Give him 35 ribbies on the year, and that ball was just hit perfectly, I guess.
You gave the numbers for Ryan Rayburn. It's also worth pointing out 12 homers, 35 runs batted in 171 at-bats.
Yeah, that's impressive. That's the 13th home run given up by Chris Sale.
Cabrera into left field on a basket catch made by Viciedo for out number 2.
Well, the Tribe will host the Los Angeles Angels on August 10th, and the first 10,000 fans will receive a Rocky Colavito replica Hall of Fame plaque. It's also the second night of a Rockin' Blast, and it's all courtesy of Progressive Insurance. Log on to Indians.com for your tickets. They are whipping out there to right today. You know, we don't feel it up here, and I looked down, and when Stubbs was leading off this inning, I saw his jersey rippling from the wind, so it is blowing down at field level.
Yeah.
But look at Bourne. Bourne, he can't believe that ball carried to right. So if you're in the outfield, I'd play a few steps deeper.
Santana brushed back 2-1.
Well, the Indians, they now have homered in 11 of the last 12.
And there's a hot smash into left field for Carlos Santana, his second hit of the game. Already 6 hits in the game for the Indians now.
Well, and they went to the second inning. They had 3 hits. They have 3 hits here. And Santana looks like he's tightening that swing up a little bit. You know, sometimes you get a big hit like last night's walk-off, and he's 2 for 2 this afternoon. Gives you a little shot of confidence.
Now Yan Gomes. He had a solid line drive single his first time up. Starts him off with a breaking ball for strike 1. In the air, right field.
Yeah, he wants to go to right, too, with that wind.
Danks makes the catch to end the inning. The Indians get a 2-run home run from Ryan Rayburn, and they now lead it 3-0. in downtown Cleveland, where the Indians and the White Sox putting the wraps on a 4-game series. Tribe wrapping up a 7-game homestand. And the Indians trying to do something they've never done in their history. Sweep the White Sox in a 4-game series twice in the same season. Justin Masterson will face Alexei Ramirez, Adam Dunn, and Dayan Viciedo here in the 4th. Misses outside for ball 1. Breaking ball inside corner. Whoa. Yanked that one a little bit to the other batter's box. Nick Swisher will take it himself. 1 away here in the 4th. Elk and Elk injury report brought to you by Elk and Elk, 1-800-ELK Ohio. And Jason Hamill goes on the DL for Baltimore. Giovanni Gallardo goes down for Milwaukee. I'd say Baltimore acquired Bud Norris just in the nick of time.
Yeah.
Strike on the outside corner. Ran it off the outside part of the plate. Dunn drives one. Center field, and running it down is Drew Stubbs for out number 2. Get ready for Fox Sports 1, America's new 24-hour sports network. Fox Sports 1 will be your home for live sports, news, highlights, and shows that only Fox can bring you. America's new sports network is Fox Sports 1, coming August 17th. Pitches inside, ball 1 to Viciedo. Bounces it towards second. Mike Aviles fields it chest high and throws him out. And Masterson cruises through the 4th inning on 10 pitches. Right now on FoxSportsOhio.com, Carlos Santana's walk-off. Is it 1995 all over again? Trent Richardson gets a Hall of Famer support. And can Tiger Woods make it 8 at Firestone? Complete coverage of all today's action involving Ohio sports on FoxSportsOhio.com. Bottom third of the Indians' order coming up here. Michael Brantley takes a strike over the outside corner. And John Hirschbeck were at odds in his first at-bat. Swings at that pitch and fouls it out of play. The count 0-2. Swung out and missed. He struck him out. One away. Here's our AT&T U-verse rewind. Mark Reynolds got Chris Sale for a grand slam earlier this year here in Cleveland. And here today, he connected to drive home the game's first run with a 2-out RBI single in the second. There's a high fly ball to center field.
Watch the wind.
De Aza was back. Now he's coming in. And that's out number 2.
That wind, it looked like it was in left center field and pushed it over to center and knocked that one down.
Well, as you said, keep your feet moving today if you're in the outfield.
Well, 2014 season ticket renewals coming soon. The investment as an Indian season ticket holder remains among the best in baseball. And you'll receive access to the best locations, postseason ticketing priority, and many other exclusives.
Mike Aviles looking at strike one. Fly to left his first time up. Little squib job to first.
That's a cue shot.
Well, that'll be a quick 1-2-3 inning. 6 pitches is all it takes Sale to get through the fourth. 3-0 Cleveland. AT&T U-verse, rethink possible. And by your local Toyota dealers. Toyota, let's go places. Indians 3, the White Sox nothing as we go to the 5th inning. Connor Gillespie, Jeff Keppinger, and Jordan Danks to bat for Chicago. One and one to count. Three of the hottest teams in baseball all reside in the American League Central Division. Bounce towards second base. Mike Aviles will throw him out. You got the Royals, who've won 8 straight. The Indians, who have won 7 in a row. Then Atlanta has a 6-game winning streak. Detroit has won 5 in a row. There's you get a look at the Central Division standings. So Kansas City, they're starting to close a little bit, but they can't gain any ground, but they're at least above 500 now.
Right, they're playing much better. I mean, you can't get disappointed. I guess your only concern is how your team plays. Like I said with the Indians, you just continue to win, and everything will take care of itself. They'll get their opportunity on Monday. You know, Detroit's coming in for a huge 4-game series. They've got a big weekend series coming up in Miami to face some good, young, solid starting pitching.
Marlins are at home right now, wrapping up a series against the New York Mets. And the Indians will head down to Miami to visit the new home of the Marlins.
Terry has got to be pleased the way his ball club has been playing, though. It's been a lot of fun.
I mean, here you are. It's the 1st of August. You're 11 games over 500. You're in the hunt.
Well, after, if you remember, we went on that last road trip opening up the break. And 4 one-run losses on the road. The starting pitching was outstanding. They didn't play good defense. They didn't hit well, but they come home and, you know, they've been lights out.
I don't think there was a preseason publication that had the Indians picked anywhere above 3rd in the American League Central Division this year.
Fly under the radar. That's how you like it. Those guys are usually wrong anyway.
It's funny. I was at breakfast this morning, and my son was looking at one of the Sports Illustrateds, and it happened to be the one with Jason Grilli on the cover of the Pirates. And we were looking at their predictions. You know, this was on July 22nd, so it's not that long ago, a couple of weeks ago, July 22nd. This is what they were predicting would happen between now and the end of the season. And none of the predictions look like they're even close. And, of course, Jason Grilli's now on the DL. It's just...
Yeah. And that's only 2 weeks ago. We're only into August, but this is the fun time of year.
That's how fast things can change. I mean, the Texas Rangers went from acquiring Matt Garza to a week later saying, well, Garza's available if anybody wants him now. And now they've won 3 straight games in walk-off fashion, and now they're flipped the other way again.
They beat the Angels. How about that? 3 straight walk-offs.
Jordan Danks fouls one out of play. Yeah, the Angels have lost 6 in a row. They're 10 games under 500. These White Sox, of course, have also lost 6 in a row. And they're 25 games below 500. But the team with the longest losing streak in baseball might surprise you. It's the St. Louis Cardinals. They've lost 7 in a row.
That does surprise me. And 4 of them to the Pirates.
In what is a 5-game series. They've got the final game
Oh, they've
today.
got another game tonight?
I think this is it. Wraps it up.
Holy smokes. They want to get out of there.
Yeah, 7:05 game in Pittsburgh. Swung on and missed. Masterson strikes him out. That's his 5th K of the afternoon, 2 down.
I didn't realize that was a 5-game series.
Yeah, I'm assuming it had something to do with a rain-out make-up deal. Now, Justin Masterson retired the first 6 in a row to start the game. Gave up a leadoff single in the 3rd. He's walked a couple. He's fanned 5. He has been just typical Justin Masterson.
I was going to say, it's typical self. You go out there, he keeps it down, throws the sinkers, mixes in the sliders, and you look up and there's zeros on the board.
Boy, had him tied up nicely there. 1-1 the count. You know, it was Joe Smith who said it the other day. He said, you know, Masterson has taken that title of the ace and he's just run with it. Because, you know, as we all know in baseball, just because you're the team's opening day starter doesn't necessarily mean you're an ace, so to speak. That's an earned title by going out and, you know, being a dominant type pitcher. Well, he's earned that title the way he's pitched this year, and as Joe Smith said, he took it and he's run with it. And you have to love that.
And he's going to have to continue to do that for this team to get better. And he has stepped up all along the way, no doubt about it.
He's matched up against All-Stars in each of his last 2 starts. He an All-Star himself this year. There's no doubt in my mind that this team, when he takes the mound, they feel like they are going to win that game. Wow. Some close calls. Masterson gets no breaks. Second walk of the inning. 2 on with 2 out.
Well, make a date for the 2-night Rock and Blast Fireworks Spectacular on August 9th and 10th. The Indians will host the Angels, and the fans will be treated to an expanded fireworks display. It'll pay tribute to the Rolling Stones' 50th anniversary.
Two on, 2 out. Tyler Flowers, the batter, walked his first time up. And a chopper foul. Swung on and missed. Tyler Flowers is a big guy, and he loves to turn it loose.
Well, he has his zone, Matt, and if you find it, he can hit it a long way. He's got great power. He's a big guy. You just you want to stay out of his nitro zone. He has 9 homers on the year, just 24 RBIs. See if you can get him to expand it.
Swung out and missed. He struck him out, and that's a half dozen Ks for Masterson as the White Sox strand a pair in the 5th. Bottom of the 5th. Top of the order due up for Cleveland. Drew Stubbs, Nick Swisher, Ryan Rayburn. What a day. 73 degrees at game time on the first day of August.
Yeah, it's been nice. It's cooled down this homestand.
Very pleasant, mild. Drew Stubbs lashes it to left field, his second hit of the game. And that gives the Indians 7 hits off Sale here today.
Well, it looked like he left one up in the zone. Went with the slider, and that one stayed up, and Drew Stubbs took advantage of it. That's what you have to do when a pitcher like Chris Sale makes a mistake. Put it in play. Good look at it, and hits it into left field. It looked like a changeup he got
sure
under.
did.
Now that I looked at it and I saw that release point on the slow motion.
Lob toss to first.
Turn that over a little bit.
Inside ball one. Line drive, base hit left field. Stubbs will stop at second base, and the Indians have back-to-back hits here in the 5th inning. Our in-game recap brought to you by your local Toyota dealers. And it was Mark Reynolds with a 2-out RBI single in the 2nd that gave the Indians a 1-0 lead, and then Ryan Rayburn with an opposite field home run for Rayburn, his 12th of the year. A 2-run shot made it 3-0, and that's where we stand. But now the Indians threatening to add to their lead.
Well, and that's the big department that they have changed this year compared to last year, was the home runs by right-handed batters. Rayburn hitting one in his last at-bat. This year the Indians have hit 57 of them. Last year they had a total of 38. And 52 have been hit by new guys on the team this year. Reynolds with 15, Rayburn with 12, Stubbs 7, Avila 6, Swisher 5, Gomes 7. So they have really revamped the right-handed batter's box.
Now it's a third. It's off the glove of Gillespie. Coming around third, Stubbs will score. Swisher on his way to third. He'll get in there safely. 4-0 Cleveland. Stubbs with good aggressive base running. Once that ball kicked off Gillespie's glove, he just put the hammer down.
You know, when you're going good, that happens. That ball goes off his glove. It deflects past Ramirez, so Rayburn gets a single. It'll be another RBI for him. He has 3 on the day. Stubbs scores easily. Swisher goes to third. And it's a 4-0 game. The Tribe now with 9 hits. And when you look at it, every time they had a hit in an inning, they've had at least 3. 3 in the 2nd, 3 in the 3rd, now 3 here in the 5th, and there is nobody out.
Asdrubal Cabrera 0 for 2. Cabrera has grounded out, flied out. Good block by Flowers. There's a high drive. Deep center field. Diaz back. Now look at him running over to his left. He makes the catch on the warning track. Tagging and scoring is Swisher. And it's a 5-0 Indians lead. Asdrubal Cabrera picks up RBI number 41. Diaz must have run a good 25-30 yards over to his left.
Yeah, it's that wind is playing a little havoc with the balls in the air today that are hit high, but Cabrera gets a sacrifice fly, his 41st ribby. They put another crooked number on the board. It's a 5-0 Indians lead.
Carlos Santana takes a strike. Santana already 2 for 2 on the day with a couple of base hits. And the count 0-2. Santana smoked the ball to center field in the second. And he yanked a base hit in the left in the third. 5 hits and 14 at bats in this series. One ball, 2 strikes. Chop foul.
Well, we would like to send out a special greeting. I'll save that.
There's the ball he blistered to center field. And that's the one he yanked in the left. Of course, he had the game winner, a walk-off homer last night in the 10th. Now a count 2-2. Off the end of the bat, another base hit into center field. Santana's 3 for 3. And that is 4 hits in the inning now for the Indians. And here comes Don Cooper, the pitching coach.
Yeah, they are just, they're swinging it really well this afternoon off a really good pitcher. Santana now 3 for 3. That's another changeup out over the plate. It wasn't a bad pitch. It was off the plate, probably a ball. But Santana stayed on it. A lot of times you see Santana may pull off that pitch. He didn't that time. They have 4 singles in the inning to go along with a sacrifice fly.
Well, early in the count, I think he did, but as he gets a little bit deeper in the count, you know, he is starting to make better adjustments.
Well, sometimes he's better when he has 2 strikes because he doesn't get big and try and hit the long ball.
Yeah. Well, we've got 2 men on board with 1 out in this 5th inning, and Yan Gomes coming to the plate. He singled his first time up, flied to right, back in the 3rd.
It's only the 2nd time this year that Sale has given up 10 hits in a ball game. The other time it came against who else? Detroit. They had 10 and 6 2/3 innings, but the Indians have done it in 4 1/3 innings. So they have hit the ball very well. Only 1 extra base hit. That's the 2-run homer by Rayburn.
Gomes taking a strike.
Ouch.
And he's drilled by the pitch. That hurt. Base is loaded.
That hurt me up here. Well, he's about at the end of his rope.
Activity in that Chicago bullpen.
He goes in. There's no way Gomes could get out of the way of that pitch. And his control this inning has really been off. I will say that. The changeup to Stubbs and Swisher, both of them elevated. And he was trying to throw a fastball in. And you can see it looks like Axelrod getting up and getting loose in a hurry.
Only left-handed hitter in the lineup today, Michael Brantley, hasn't had much luck against Sale to this point. 0 for 2, he has struck out twice. And the count 0-2. And Brantley strikes out 3 pitches, took care of him. 2 down. It's going to bring up Mark Reynolds with 2 down on the bases loaded. Reynolds had the 2-out RBI single back in the second, fly to center in the fourth. Breaking ball missed outside, ball 1. Sale's only at 75 pitches on the day, but the Indians have reached him for 5 runs on 10 hits. 1-1. Back-to-back strikes called. 1 ball, 2 strikes to count on Reynolds now.
That's a pitch he wanted to throw in there to Gomes, and he just held on to it too long and hit him. But he throws 2 perfect pitches there.
Little squib job to first. It goes foul. Reynolds stays alive.
Well, that'll give me time to send out a special greeting to a Big Tribe fan we know is watching today, our good friend Bunny. Some of her friends are having an Indians watch party at Elmcroft in Lorraine with the staff from the Harbor Light Hospice. And Bunny, thanks for making us part of your special day.
Indians with a 5-0 lead. Looking for more here in this 5th inning. Sale strikes out Reynolds, and the inning is over. 5 complete. The Indians 5 and the White Sox nothing. Night at 11:30 on Training Camp Daily. We'll introduce you to the new players, cover all the roster moves, and bring you expert analysis as the Browns prepare for the upcoming season. Training Camp Daily tonight at 11:30 on Sports Time Ohio. Top of the order for Chicago here in the 6th. Alejandro De Aza, Alexei Ramirez, and Adam Dunn. Through 5, Masterson's given up 1 hit. He's walked 3, struck out a half dozen. De Aza looks at strike 1. He shortened as if maybe he was going to lay down a bunt, probably just for show. Sends one high in the air to right field. Back is
win.
Rayburn to the wall, and it's gone. Alejandro De Aza gets the White Sox on the board with his 13th home run of the year. It's just his third hit in the series. And the Indians' lead is now 5-1.
You knew he got enough of that ball. Going to right field with that wind, it was not going to keep it in the ballpark. Pitch out over the plate. Got a really good piece of, got it out in front of the plate and drove it into the seats. That'll be his 13th home run and the first run that Masterson has allowed today, and only the second hit.
Alexei Ramirez takes a strike. Slowly chopped to third. Reynolds on the move, throws and got him. What a play by Reynolds. Not an easy transition to make that throw across your body, but he put it right on the money for out number one.
Yeah, Ramirez tops his ball, and it's going to stay fair. Nice solid throw on line. A lot of times you have a tendency to throw that ball into the runner when you're on the run. He didn't.
First home run allowed by the Indians in 5 games. That homer by De Aza. They've done a very good job of keeping the ball in the park. That's just the 4th home run they've given up. They came into today's game. They've given up 3 home runs to 648 batters. That's a pretty good run. Just a
well,
third
and
home.
you give up home runs, solo shots. That's even a better thing. If you're going to have to give them up, go ahead. You make a pitch, a guy hits the ball. Hey, tip your cap to him. And that's what it seemed to be. You don't give up big home runs. It's only the 11th that Masterson has given up this year in 156 innings.
Ground ball. There's Reynolds with that shift on. 2 away.
Well, the Tigers are back in town, and they're coming back on Monday, which I would consider a pivotal 4-game series starting August 5th. The last time they will be in town, as a matter of fact. They'll be here through the 8th, and good seats remain for all games. $1 dog night for the last game of the series on Thursday. Get your tickets early at Indians.com.
Right at the second baseman of Aviles. Masterson puts the home run behind him and cruises through the remainder of the 6th inning. 5-1 Tribe, middle of the 6th. Happened to Steven Seagal.
There he is.
He's been running camera on our crew here at Sports Time Ohio for Indians baseball. Star of Above the Law, Under Siege. Igor Klobos, we say goodbye to you today. Thanks for your hard work all throughout the summer baseball season.
Going out on a movie shoot for the winter, and we won't see him till next spring.
He'll be overseas with his next adventure flick. Today's Cleveland Clinic call to the bullpen. Dylan Axelrod coming on now for the 21st time this year. It was Dylan Axelrod who was on in the 10th inning last night, giving up the home run to Carlos Santana that ended the ball game. Mike Aviles 0 for 2 on the day. Slashes one towards right field. That'll drop. Indians with their 11th hit of the game. Leadoff man aboard. Time now to get the answer to the AT&T trivia question today. Who did the Indians say no to? Elmer Flick.
Born in Bedford, Ohio. No kidding.
Drew Stubbs, a couple of hits on the day, a couple of runs scored. Line drive base hit, his third of the game. Aviles took a big turn and then he fell down trying to go around second, slides back in, and he's out there.
Yeah, I don't know what he was thinking there. He was not going to go to third base. Viciedo has a good arm in left field. Made a big turn and then slipped. So that was a mistake. I mean, really, you're not going to go anywhere. The play's in front of you. And he's making it easily. A nice hop. Where he was going, I don't know. And once you slip, dead duck.
Now Nick Swisher. Just thinking, since Aviles makes that out, I wonder if Stubbs plays this aggressively and tries to get himself in a scoring position now with 11 steals on the year.
Well, he'll bide his time and see what the pitcher will give you. I want to see Axelrod's move.
He took off.
Well, and he was
Swisher in the air. Right center field. Stubbs doesn't know where the ball's at. It's caught. And now the throw all the way back to first will be a double play. So not real good base running here in the 6th inning. And the White Sox retire the Tribe on just 4 total pitches. with 18 locations in Northeast Ohio. And by Levin. The Cuyahoga River, downtown Cleveland, and a look in at the ballpark from our Panini Cam, brought to you by Panini's Bar and Grill. Gorgeous afternoon. Justin Masterson dealing 6 innings of work. He's made 86 pitches. 52 of the 86 have been for strikes. 8 ground ball outs, 6 strikeouts, 3 fly ball outs, and you just look at his pitches per inning. Very efficient, very effective. First ball swinging, Connor Gillespie fouls it off. He's 0 for 2 on the day.
You know, he's had 11 starts this year where he's gone 7 or more innings. And he is 8-1 with a 1.18 ERA. And this is becoming the norm for this guy. You expect him to go out there and give you 7 innings, which is a great thing.
Back out of play.
A couple of birthday wishes want to send out to Betty Eberhard, who is turning 96 today. Betty, happy birthday to you. And Paul Brody is turning 88. Paul, happy birthday to you.
In the air, center field. Drew Stubbs makes the catch, 1 away. The way back, this summer's movie with something for everyone now playing. Jeff Keppinger has struck out and walked. Looks at a ball outside. Lines one to right field for a base hit. And the Sox have a 1-out base runner in the 7th. It's going to bring up Jordan Danks, who has singled and struck out tonight.
First hit
this afternoon
by a right-handed batter in that Chicago lineup today. Was Keppinger's single right there. And a line drive off the end of the bat to left field by Danks. His second hit of the day. And Chicago with a pair of back-to-back hits in the 7th. Have something brewing now, and Gordon Beckham will be coming up. Well, if I was facing Masterson, that's what I'd be doing. I'd be looking to get ahead earlier for something. I'm not going to let him get ahead and put me away with his slider. That was a pretty good pitch, and Danks just stayed on it and took what Masterson was going to give him, and that's a base hit the other way. You try and do anything else with that pitch, and you're either going to roll over on it, break your bat. It's just, he couldn't do much with it, but he did exactly what he could do.
Activity now beginning in the Indians bullpen as Masterson closes in on 100 pitches for the day. Mickey Callaway to go out and chat.
Well, Justin, he is no stranger to the ground ball double play. He has induced 17 of them this year. And again, he's had the ground ball working today.
Gordon Beckham called out on strikes back in the 3rd inning. He walked in the 5th. 3 for 11 in the series. outside for ball one. One-0 pitch. A little bit outside, and the count 2-0 now for Masterson. Two-0. Slowly bounced foul, third base side, and the count evens at 2-2. Masterson fires and Beckham bangs it in the hole. It's a base hit. Keppinger holding at third. The bases are loaded now.
Again,
only one out.
That ball hit the lip of the grass and stayed down, but it gets into left field. They can't afford to send Keppinger, so it's the third straight hit that Masterson is allowed. The double play still in order. Watch this ball hit and stay down. Hits the lip and just all the way into the outfield. Brantley gets it in. Bases loaded, nobody out. Chance for the White Sox to get themselves back in this ball game.
Tyler Flowers, the batter, 0 for 1. He has walked and struck out. Good off-speed pitch. Flowers was sitting dead red. He took a rip and came up empty. The 100th pitch of the game for Masterson. Fouled right back. And it's 0-2. %63 strikes for Masterson. The 0-2. Up high with the fastball. Jeff Keppinger at third. Jordan Danks at second. Gordon Beckham down at first. And the 1-2. Count evens, 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Good sinker down in the zone, and Flowers didn't offer at it. That was the double play ball he was looking for. See if he comes back with a slider now.
Out of play. Nice grab over there.
With a glove, that saved somebody.
Swung out and missed. He chased the slider. 2 down in the inning. 7th strikeout for Masterson.
Let's check the sequence out here at Flowers. Start him out. Slider away, strike 1. Slider away, strike 2. Now he tried to get him to chase a high fastball. Ran one down, looked for the double play, couldn't get it. He fouls one off, and then he's going to come back with the slider. So he puts him away on 3 sliders, and Masterson's afternoon will be over.
Today's Cleveland Clinic call to the bullpen. Left-hander Rich Hill will be coming on with the bases loaded and 2 out when we come back. with the White Sox threatening now. Bases loaded, 2 outs here in the 7th inning. Alejandro De Aza coming up now. He homered his last time up off Justin Masterson. So Terry Francona elects to go to Rich Hill out of the bullpen. 44th appearance, 1-2 ERA, .635, 37 strikeouts, 18 walks in 28 1/3 innings.
Yeah, for Masterson on the day, 6 2/3 innings. He had 12 counts of 0-2, 1-2. Chicago was 0 for 10. He had a couple of walks and 5 strikeouts in those situations. So Hill trying to get out of it and keep it a 1-run game for Masterson.
Left-handed hitters batting 190 on the year off Hill. 11 out of 58. Wow, pretty good pitch.
Well, De Aza got a fastball out over the plate, got it up into that wind, and it gets it into the seats. That was the only run that Masterson has given up to this point.
De Aza, for his part, .333 average against left-handed pitching this year. 1-on-1 account. He's got 30 hits and 90 at-bats against the Southpaws. Bases loaded. 2 down. 1-1 pitch. Hill ready, the 2-1. Slow chopper to second. Aviles flips to Cabrera, and the inning is over. Rich Hill gets the Tribe out of hot water here in the 7th inning, and it remains a 5-1 Indians lead. Time now for the 7th inning stretch, brought to you by Spitzer Auto World. Life is hard, buying a car shouldn't be. Seventh inning. For the Tribe, Ryan Rayburn as Drupal Cabrera and Carlos Santana do up. Rayburn having a big day, and he's having a tremendous season. He's 2 for 3, a 2-run homer in the 3rd, An RBI single in the 5th. Oh, and 2 the count. Outside, he missed 1 ball, 2 strikes. Rayburn hit one high in the air to right field, and that ball just took off out of here down the line for a 2-run homer to make it 3-0. And now he drives one high in the air to deep left field. Back is Viciedo. He's looking up. It is gone to Souvenir City. Ryan Rayburn with a monster game here today. His 2nd home run of the afternoon, his 4th run batted in. 6-1 Cleveland.
Yeah, he took advantage of it and hit it a long way. That's when you just sit and look up. I watched Viciedo do just that. He gets one right down Broadway. Put a good swing on it. He has 3 hits and 4 RBIs on the day. Ryan Rayburn just continues to hit the baseball and hit it well.
Look at that. They're fighting for it. And now the guy with the glove wins. There's Drupal Cabrera, an RBI with a sac fly his last time up. Rayburn getting an opportunity with the Indians this year, and he is making the most of it. Cabrera lifts one shallow left, and Viciedo will make the catch, 1 away. As promised earlier, it's Miller time, brought to you by Miller Lite. Carlos Santana's also having a good day. Not as much noise as Ryan Rayburn, that's for sure. But a single up the middle, a single to left field, and then another single up the middle. 3 for 3 on the day for Santana, who's bumped his season batting average up to 278. One and 2 the count for Santana, with Yan Gomes waiting on deck. Yeah, we mentioned earlier that Rayburn, he's having a big year, and he's not an everyday player.
He is, I think, in a role that he will relish in. You know, he's not an everyday guy, and you give him opportunities and put him in there at the right times, and he has shined this year.
13 homers, 37 ribbies, 173 at bats. Santana strikes out. We'll go back to the Hyundai Studios right now for an in-game update with Al Pawlowski.
Hey, Matt, Rick, the Red Hot Royals remain hot today against Minnesota here in the top of the 2nd inning. In the first at bat for Justin Maxwell as a Royal. He gets a base hit here to score a run. Kansas City's up 3-1 now over Minnesota. Bottom of the 3rd inning at Target Field. Matt?
Royals trying to run their win streak to 8 in a row. I mean to 9 in a row. You know, the other thing about Rayburn, when you consider the production that you've got, that's the 7th time this year he's driven in 3 or more runs in a game. Tied with Michael Brantley and Jason Kipnis, who are everyday players for the most on this club. So when he when he gets his chances, boy, does he make the most of it. I mean, he goes out and puts a lot into every at bat, and it's paying off for him.
Well, it's all worked out. Good atmosphere. You know, in Detroit last year, they tried to make him an everyday player, and it just didn't work out for him at second base. This guy has come over here now, whether it's the players and the clubhouse and everything, he is fit in just beautifully.
Yan Gomes smashes it hard up the middle. It's by Ramirez and into center field, a base hit. His second hit of the afternoon.
That is hit number 14 now for the Indians. So they are swinging it today. They have 12 singles and the 2 Rayburn home runs.
Michael Brantley happy to see anybody other than Chris Sale out there on the mound.
You can't blame him. He drew the short straw, the only left-hander in there against Sale, and didn't fare well. But you know what? Your teammates did, so there's not much you can do. It's only the second time this year that the Indians that Sale has given up 10 hits in a ball game, and the Indians did it in 5 innings. And in his 3 starts against the Indians, he's pitched 17 in the 3rd inning. He's given up 16 earned runs.
Yeah, his ERA in 3 games against the Tribes, 8.31. Masterson in 4 starts against Chicago, 0.85.
Double dipping.
The 1-2. Brantley in the air center field. In comes Diaz. Out goes Ramirez, and Ramirez makes the catch to end the inning. Ryan Rayburn having a monster afternoon. His second home run. He's driven in 4. Tribe in command 6-1.
Transmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Cleveland Indians.
The Indians lead it 6-1. 14 hits on the day for the Tribes offense. Rich Hill got the final out of the 7th inning. He'll stay on to start the 8th. With activity in the Indians bullpen. Indians Live brought to you by Conrad's Tire Express and Total Car Care comes up right after the ball game. Highlights, analysis, interviews, a whole lot more straight ahead. Alexei Ramirez 0 for 3 on the afternoon. One 0 pitch. Rich Hill, a long look in. Fouled back out of play. Breaking ball in there for a strike to even the count of 2-2. The 2-2. Squibb towards second base. Aviles flips it over. One away. Let's revisit our keys to the game, courtesy of Akron Children's Hospital. Masterson continued to dominate. He gave up 1 run in 6 2/3 innings, and the Indians did take advantage of their early scoring opportunities against Chris Sale. And Rick, what was impressive today is they kept adding on.
Yeah, they did. They did a nice job. They've scored in 4 of the 7 innings so far today, and 14 hits. It's not easy to do against a guy like Chris Sale. For some strange reason, they've had his number this year, and Masterson on the other side of that coin has had the White Sox number. They haven't been able to hit him.
Remember back in, I believe it was 2007, when the Indians, Johan Santana. Now, they didn't blow him out of the water, but they found a way to beat him every time.
They couldn't beat him up until that year.
Right.
I don't know if they ever beat him before that year, and then that one year he was 0-5 against the Tribe. But we will see the White Sox again, and I'm sure probably Chris Sale at some point in time.
Now, next week, the Indians will see the Detroit Tigers, and they'll see Justin Verlander. They'll see Max Scherzer. And those are going to be some tough customers that they'll have to find a way to beat. Now, Verlander, they've had success against in the past. Scherzer, well, he's only lost 1 game this entire year. Swung on and fouled into the glove. 2-2 the count. Swung on and missed. Adam Dunn struck out. Rich Hill, I think he thought it was the 3rd out of the inning. He was headed for the dugout.
Yeah, no, they're yelling at him in there. Don't worry, he's going to hear it. You shake your head and, there you go. He makes a great pitch. He was just staying loose, that's all. He saw nobody else was running off, so you have to stop, and I guarantee there were a few yelps from that dugout.
That went unnoticed by no one.
True.
Pounds the strike zone. Viciedo 0 for 3 on the day. swing and a miss. Viciedo down on the count 0-2. Viciedo fights it off to stay alive. And the 0-2 just a little bit inside.
Big breaking ball coming down into the zone. Must have been a little high.
And now the 1-2 offering. Hit in the air, down the left field lines, and that's going to go foul. Rich Hill comes set. The 1-2. Fastball ran inside, and the count evens at 2-2. Robin Ventura's gang has been shut down today by Masterson and now Hill. Swing and a miss. He chased one in the dirt. Gomes will have to throw to first. He does. And the Sox go 1-2-3. Hill with a couple of strikeouts. We'll go to the bottom of the 8th. 6-1 Tribe. Six-one Indians on top as we go to the bottom of the 8th inning. And for the Tribe, Mark Reynolds, Mike Aviles, and Drew Stubbs due up. Reynolds 1 for 3 on the day. His 2-out RBI single in the first started the scoring for the Tribe today. Down in the dirt. Paints the outside corner at the knees. 1-2. Reynolds strikes out, 1 away. In-game box score brought to you by your local Hyundai dealers. Drew Stubbs, 3 hits. Carlos Santana, 3 hits. Ryan Rayburn, 3 hits, including a pair of homers, 4 driven in. Terrific performance today by this Indians offensive unit, the right-handed guys. Aviles went too far, 0-2.
Well, when you're facing a guy like Chris Sale, that's what you say. Come on, you right-handers, go get him. Because lefties haven't had any luck against him this year.
Now, Terry Francona said it, I think he said it last night after the game, that he gets a lot of credit, deservedly so, for the job he's done getting this team turned around and where they're at right now from where this team was a season ago. But he said, hey, you know what? Chris Antonetti deserves a lot of credit for assembling the roster and giving him the kind of players he has that enables him to go with a right-handed lineup. We went 2 or 3 years where they were starving for a right-handed bat.
Well, last year was a great point where we would throw 8, sometimes 9 left-handed hitters out there on a given night.
Broken bat by Aviles, roller to third, 2 down. Now on the flip side, Chicago went with a lot of the left-handed bats against Justin Masterson, and it didn't really matter. Masterson was excellent. He went 6 2/3, 1 run. He only allowed 2 hits until the 7th when 3 consecutive singles loaded the bases up. But only 1 run allowed, 3 walks, 7 strikeouts on the day.
Just another Masterson performance.
Looking for his 13th win of the year. One ball, 1 strike. Three balls and a strike. Stubbs looking for his 4th hit of the afternoon. The 3-1 pitch swung out and missed a full count. Payoff pitch. Outside, ball 4. And a 2-out base runner for the Tribe here in the last of the 8th. It'll bring up Nick Swisher. Swisher singled and scored back in the 5th inning. Cuts and misses, and the count 0-1. One ball, one strike. Indians up 5 here in the bottom of the 8th. Two and one the count. There's Swisher. Awaits the pitch from Dylan Axelrod. In his 4th inning of relief here this afternoon. Excuse me, his 3rd inning of relief this afternoon. Came on in the 6th. Gave up a couple of hits but did not allow a run. Then served up the home run to Ryan Rayburn in the 7th inning. Outside with it. Full count. Stubbs will be off at first on the 3-2 pitch. And Swisher fouls it off. Got a piece of home plate umpire John Hirschbeck. Royals still lead the Twins 4-2. They're in the 4th inning in Minnesota. Kansas City trying to run their win streak to 9 in a row. Payoff pitch, runner goes. Swisher lines one toward left field, and it's caught by Viciedo to end the inning. Joe Smith on the pitch the 9th for the Tribe. Connor Gillespie, Jeff Keppinger, Jordan Danks due up for Chicago. Indians Live coming up next. Indians looking to sweep the homestand.
Boy, what a week it's been.
Indians have won 7 in a row overall, 10 straight at home. Indians will head to Miami for a 3-game weekend series against the Marlins, and then right back home Monday night to take on Detroit. With their 10 straight wins at home, the Indians' longest win streak since they won 14 in a row at home back in early 2011. That was a win streak that started April 3rd, ended May the 10th.
Well, with a win today at home, too, it gives them the most wins of any team in the American League. And it ties them with Atlanta. Atlanta has a 37-15 record, although that would give the Indians 37-19. But, yeah, boy, what a home record that is.
Connor Gillespie takes a strike from Joe Smith.
They had 37 wins all of last year in this ballpark.
You know, the other thing, too, is that they've been getting the early leads, and maybe they aren't big early leads, but scoring first, 18 of their last 19, they've put the first tally on the board.
You know, when your pitching has been as good as the Indians have been, that's what you need. Just give these guys the lead, and it seems like it's been the remedy, man. They settle in, and the add-on in the middle part of the game is always nice.
Gillespie hits one high in the air to right field. Back is Rayburn, and he makes the catch one away. Here's a look at the schedule coming up. Weekend at Miami. Back home for 4 against Detroit. Angels come in for a weekend. And then right back on the road. 3 at Minnesota. 3 at Oakland. 3 at Anaheim. Back home briefly and then right back out on the road again. And as Terry Francona has said, when you're in the race like this, every game takes on added importance now the rest of the way.
Sure it does. It sure does. With the way these guys are playing, you're going for 3 quick games to come right back home. You're looking forward to it.
And that's the thing. We can. The players cannot. The players have to stay in the moment. We can say, all right, we got 3 in Miami and then 4 against Detroit. And we can talk about looking forward to that. The guys between the white lines, they can't do that. If they get caught doing that, well, you could fall on your face against a team like Miami.
They've got 3 young pitchers they're going to face down in Miami that have some outstanding arms.
Yeah,
Jose Fernandez, 7-5. They're going to face him tomorrow night. And then you got Jacob Turner, very good arm, and Eovaldi.
Fly ball, right field. Rayburn again is there. 2 down. For as much grief as the Marlins have taken for the dismantling of their team and all the moves they've made, the White Sox, when this third out is recorded, will have as many losses. Well, actually, we'll have more losses than Miami.
Yeah. There's the pitching matchups for the weekend. The Indians will counter with Jimenez, McAllister, and Kazmir. And a young team. It'll be our first trip to there. We haven't been there since 2007.
Yeah, first trip to the new ballpark. Should be a lot of fun.
It should be.
Jordan takes 2 for 3 on the afternoon. The executive producer for Sports Time Ohio is Tom Former. Coordinating producer Steve Warren. Tonight's game produced by Jim Murphy, directed by Pat Murray. Indians Live produced by Mike Pochman. Our associate producers are Mike Pachta and Steve Bardo. Outside 1-1. Technical director is Dan Larson. Creative consultant Mark Koha. Tom Boschetta keeps the numbers in the booth. Gary Coach keeps everybody on their toes. Ground ball first base, backhanded by Swisher. He'll take it himself. And the Indians have swept the Chicago White Sox in a 4-game series twice this year. First time they've ever done that. 2 4-game sweeps of the Sox in the same season for Cleveland. And the Indians continue to roll. They've won 8 in a row, 11 straight at home, and they go to a season-best 12 games over 500 at 60 and 48. Justin Masterson gets the win. He's 13-7. Chris Sale takes the loss. He drops to 6-11. And Chicago falls to 40-66 on the season.
Boy, what a homestand this was.
The Indians scored 40 runs on the homestand. The opposition combined to score just 20 against them.
Wow. 2-1. It was fun. It was fun.
Time now for our key play of the game, brought to you by KeyBank.
Well, let's go back to the third inning. Ryan Rayburn, who's having an unbelievable year. He hits a ball and just hit it perfectly. Had a lot of topspin. That ball carried into the seats in right field. I don't know if Sale believes it or not, but Rayburn, a 2-run home run. That's going to be our KeyBank key play of the game. Get a free Kindle Fire HD when you sign up for a new checking account. Some restrictions apply.
Well, the Indians have had the brooms out quite often this year. We're going to take a look at how they've swept their way toward the top of the standings. That's coming up next.